their current starting point guard D'Angelo Russell needs the ball in his hands to dominate, so bringing Lamelo Ball in to fight with him over touches wouldn't be the best idea. A powerful guard with elite length and explosiveness at 6'5", 225 pounds, shooting guard Anthony Edwards has an NBA-ready combination of size, strength, and quick-twitch athleticism on the perimeter. He seems to hang and glide in the air. He's rarely ever knocked off path due to his strong build and broad shoulders. In addition to his physical traits, Edwards has a groundwork of promising skills as a scorer, most notably a sweet-looking jump shot with legit NBA range, and a picturesque release that he uses to do the majority of his damage. Plus, Anthony can play off-ball next to Russell and Towns. At the very least, I think Edwards' ceiling is a Carmelo Anthony-type legacy, but I think he'll be even better than that. The Golden State Warriors take James Wiseman with their second overall draft selection, a mobile 7'1" center who will be able to beautifully play off the Splash Brothers, lock down the paint, and dominate the glass. The Dubs have desired a center like Wiseman for many years, and his addition should take a ton of pressure off Draymond both on the glass and defensively. Wiseman's 7'6" wingspan, nimble feet, agility, solid leaping ability, and long strides make his upside unlimited on both ends. He's got natural shot-blocking instincts which give him the potential to be an elite NBA rim protector, and in terms of his offensive game, James has a really nice touch. After he sets a pick for Stephen Clay, I see him either popping out for 10 to 15-foot jumpers or rolling to the rim with reckless abandon throughout his whole career. Wiseman's exactly what the Warriors need and a perfect fit with their current personnel, and I think he's got a Joel Embiid / David Robinson type ceiling and should be ready to instantly contribute to a Warriors playoff run. The Charlotte Hornets select Lamelo Ball with the third overall pick and pair an efficient spot-up three-point shooter in Devontae Graham with a physically gifted lead guard. LaMelo's a wizard with the basketball, an elite playmaker with extremely tight handles. He showed some raw playmaking ability from the perimeter as an amateur, most infamously pulling up for this half-court shot. However, he only shot 25% from deep as a pro in Australia last year, and LaMelo's going to have to improve as a marksman if he wants to live up to all this hype. But Ball may be the best player in this entire draft class at scoping out on-ball and help defense simultaneously when operating the pick and roll. He's shown he can make elusive pocket passes and has an ever-improving ability to finish through or around contact with either hand near the rim. At 6'8", LaMelo's still a wiry 181 pounds, and as he packs muscle, he'll become even more imposing at his position, and that size will allow LaMelo to be an extremely versatile defender, having the capability to lock down both quick guards and overpowering small forwards. He's not the most NBA-ready player, and his career could go one of two ways. Either he lives up to LeVar's expectations and develops into Magic Johnson, or becomes a player like Jalen Rose or Sean Livingston, which is still an impressive career. Regardless, owner Michael Jordan's Hornets are adding a gem of a combo guard prospect in LaMelo. You can't forget, he's had the benefit of being able to watch and learn from his older brother, the 2017 number 3 pick Lonzo Ball. I think LaMelo lands exactly where his brother did. The Chicago Bulls used their fourth pick to select Israeli prospect Denny Avdeja. With 2 international seasons under his belt, Denny displayed that he's big enough to play the power forward spot, but has the ball handling, creativity, and playmaking skill of a point guard. He's at his best operating out of the pick and roll, where he displays excellent timing and vision, allowing him to make every read and pass in the book. He's an aggressive offensive player who's in attack mode every time he steps on the floor. He also loves shooting pull-up three-pointers in transition. Denny brings toughness, competitiveness, swagger, and has as much upside as anyone in this draft. This is a perfect pick for Chicago because they're pretty thin at small forward, and Avdeja could come in and open up a lot of space for Levine, make plays for Carter Jr. down low, and bring new life to a Chicago roster and fan base that's craving his energy. The Cleveland Cavaliers secure the future of their center position by drafting Onyeka Ogwumike with the 5th overall pick. Onyeka was the national leader for freshmen in blocks. The Cavaliers' current center Andre Drummond's massive contract expires at the end of 2021, and GM Kobe Altman said they'll take the best player available. Okongwu's a versatile defender with an elite defensive awareness, as he averaged 1.6 steals and 3.5 blocks per 40 minutes with the USC Trojans in his one and only season there. The Cavs are getting a naturally gifted rim protector who's mobile enough to step out and guard the perimeter. Offensively, Onyeka used his strength and tremendous vertical to overpower opponents at the college level. He's got to polish his offensive game, as at times he can be too reliant upon his physical gifts. But the Cavs are getting a player who's a hybrid of Montrezl Harrell and Bam Adebayo. Okongwu's springiness and rebounding could make him an All-NBA player after a few seasons of development. The Atlanta Hawks put a wing with all-star potential on both ends of the floor next to Trae Young by selecting Isaac Okoro out of Auburn with the 6th overall draft pick. Victor Oladipo comes to mind when watching Okoro, but Isaac's 2 inches taller than Victor, and I think has more upside defensively. Isaac has all the physical tools for a wing in the pros. He was one of the more impactful defenders in the college game, and has all-NBA potential thanks to his lateral quickness, high intensity level, and sound technique. The Hawks got Collins some help in the paint by trading for Capella during the 2019-20 season, and drafting Isaac Okoro will give Young a ton of support on the perimeter. Atlanta might just be ready to compete for a playoff spot next year. The Detroit Pistons add one of the more intriguing guard prospects of this class. They draft Killian Hayes with their 7th pick. Hayes can instantly become one of the better backup point guards in the NBA, be able to play next to Derrick Rose, but Detroit simply has to take the best player available here. The Frenchman Killian has a killer step back, elite passing ability, and 3 years of pro experience overseas under his belt at the age of just 19. He can change speeds and directions with the ball. He's a fairly fluid athlete who can use his size to overpower smaller guards. At 6'5" with an extremely high IQ, Killian's a Goran Dragic, Spencer Dinwiddie hybrid, and would really enhance the Pistons' offensive system. The New York Knicks make their fan base happy, which is a rarity on draft day, but they take the University of Dayton product Obi Toppin with the 8th overall pick. Obi's an explosive leaper with solid size, big hands, and is constantly running the floor hard. With an Amari Stoudemire-type playstyle, Toppin was one of the most efficient transition finishers in college basketball. Obi's a lob threat out of pick and rolls. He'll have a Tyson Chandler-type impact right away, but here's why he's got even way more potential than that. Toppin already spaces the floor because of his driving dunk, but also has a versatile offensive skill set. He can pop out to the 3 with sound mechanics and score in the post. So the sky's the limit for Obi Toppin, and the Knicks getting him this far down in the lottery is a pretty big steal. The Washington Wizards paired debatably the most NBA-ready prospect next to their all-star backcourt by drafting Aaron Nesmith with the 9th overall pick. The 6'6", 213-pound small forward averaged 23 points per game at Vanderbilt, taking 8 threes per game and knocking down 52.2% of them in his sophomore season as a Commodore. Nesmith's 7-foot wingspan give him massive two-way potential, and he's arguably the best shooter in this draft. His prospect ranking fell off because he suffered a stress fracture and only played 14 games in his last college season. But if he can stay healthy, he's a perfect fit in DC, playing off 2 top-notch shot creators in John Wall and Bradley Beal. Nesmith's an intriguing hybrid of Robert Covington and Chris Middleton. The Phoenix Suns' 10th overall pick is used to select a man who could end up being the best wing stopper to come out of this draft class in Devin Vassell. Devin would enter a perfect situation in the desert because the Suns' impressive young duo in Booker and Ayton is only lacking one thing, and that's defense. With a reported 7-foot wingspan standing at 6'8", Vassell's wiry and agile. He's not the best athlete, but his reach, awareness, and activity make him a defensive prospect you have to look out for in this year's draft. On the other end, in Devin Vassell's sophomore season at Florida State, he took 3.5 threes per game and made 41.5% of those shots. But Devin's not one-dimensional, as he displayed a bit more shot creation potential than most 3-and-D wings last year. Vassell's an improving ball handler who can occasionally operate the pick and roll, so all around, this would be a brilliant pickup for the Rising Suns. The San Antonio Spurs get some much-needed athleticism and fill a dire need for depth in their front court by drafting Precious Achua with the 11th pick. Achua has an elite physical profile, ideal defensive versatility, and while the 4 spot is his main position, he has the muscle and length to play even the center spot. Precious is 234 pounds, with a standing reach of 9'1.5", a 7'2" wingspan, and big hands. He's got the tools to protect the paint in the NBA, check either forward spot, while also switching onto the perimeter. Offensively, he's at his best attacking the paint and is explosive above the rim in space. Achua's also shown glimpses of upside as a shooter, sometimes even knocking down shots off the dribble. He's a poor free throw shooter, but made 32.5% of 40 attempts from distance at Memphis. He'd be able to develop his game as a Spur, and if he reaches his potential, then Achua reflects a prime version of Gerald Wallace with his inside scoring and deep range stroke. The Sacramento Kings cover up for Buddy Hield's streaky shooting by drafting the 6'3" combo guard from Kentucky, Tyrese Maxey. He takes spot-up threes like he's meant to be doing. Maxey's a subconscious scorer who excels in transition and can score from every area of the floor. The Kings are an up-tempo team, and Tyrese would seamlessly blend in with them. He plays at different speeds and has an advanced floater game for his age, a Kyle Lowry, Derek Fisher hybrid. Tyrese is shifty, speedy, tough, and has swagger. Maxey can finish through contact, is a confident shot maker with Lillard-type range and touch. He's also an effort-driven physical defender who uses his strong frame and anticipation skills to his advantage. The New Orleans Pelicans draft Patrick Williams with the 13th overall pick and get a serious boost to their depth on the wing behind Ingram and Zion. Williams is a 3-and-D combo forward who has an ideal physical profile for a forward at 6'8", 225 pounds, with a wingspan around 7 foot. He's got the length and athleticism to defend smaller players, plus a powerful frame that should allow him to switch on to big men. Patrick showed some flashes of touch shooting off the dribble from mid-range, as well as stepping in his spot-up three-pointers confidently. He made 32% of his 1.7 three-point attempts per game, and made 84% of his free throw attempts. Given his overpowering size and springiness mixed with his spot-up shooting ability, he reminds me a bit of OG Anunoby, and he should help the Pelicans' young duo stay fresh. The Boston Celtics land Tyrese Haliburton with the 14th overall pick, a lengthy guard who can fluently change speeds and knock down perimeter jumpers. Tyrese was a career 43% three-point shooter in college, but with massive defensive potential, Haliburton's a fluid athlete with long strides, polished footwork, and smooth body control. He's still developing physically at 6'5" and just 175 pounds, but has one of the highest basketball IQs of any player in this draft. Tyrese is a creative passer who empowers teammates with outlet passes and makes the game look easy with tremendous vision in the pick and roll. Size, length, and feel make him a factor on the glass. Getting in passing lanes and even blocking shots on occasion make him special. You may be surprised I have him going this late, but even though Haliburton's ranked as the 9th best prospect available, the teams choosing in front of Boston aren't in need of a backcourt player, so the Celtics getting him at the end of the lottery is a complete steal, and they become even more dangerous than they already are by bolstering their depth at the guard spot. 2 comments or shoutouts next video, but which player has the most NBA potential in your opinion? Let me know down below. Keep watching some of my recent uploads. This was D-Flow, and I'll see you next video.